the first thought I want to espouse this evening is the realities or the circumstances of life and the lies of Satan. The circumstances of life and the lies of Satan. Now, one of the greatest, I'll try to keep myself right with my notes. So one of the greatest revelations a believer can receive is this. One of the greatest revelations you can receive is this, that the devil, right, is a liar. Are you following me? The devil is a liar. The devil cannot tell the truth. It's one of the greatest revelations a believer can receive. Now, Jesus did not merely say Satan sometimes lies. That's not what he said. In John chapter 8, verse 44, the Bible tells us, and I'll read from the, I think, NIV. It says, when he lies, that's when the devil lies. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. So as we have Edo language, we have Igbo language, we have Urobo. The devil's language is lie. It is impossible for the devil to tell truth. It's not possible. Just as the Bible tells us that God cannot, not that he doesn't want to, he cannot. God cannot lie. So the devil cannot tell the truth. If you understand this revelation, it will save you from many troubles. So, the devil is not just a liar, he's the originator of lies. Lying is not merely something that he does. Are you following? It's not just something that he does. It is who he is. A fish swims because, why does a fish swim? Because it's a fish. A bird flies. Why? Because it's a bird. The devil lies because the devil is a liar. Are you following? It's who he is. And this is important because this means that every thought, listen carefully, every thought, every suggestion, every imagination, every fear, every intimidation, every accusation, every condemnation and discouragement that originates from the devil is a lie. Many believers know God exists, and many believers know the Bible is true. But unfortunately, they spend their lives believing the devil's report more than God's report. So, it is not the economy that is our problem. It is not the government policy. It is the greatest battle that we face is in the mind. And the pastor, Ayo, this morning talked some way about that. Now, whoever wins this battle of the mind, right? Whoever wins the battle of the mind will win the battle for your life. Men, hear me carefully. The greatest enemy of man is not outside of him. The greatest enemy of man is not the economy. Your greatest enemy are not witches. It is not your competitors. It is not critics. It is not circumstances. The greatest enemy you have is a lie. Are you following? The greatest enemy you have is a lie. Somebody is wondering, where am I going to? Now, because every man's life moves in the direction of what he believes. A man who believes he is defeated will eventually be defeated. A man who believes he is insignificant will eventually live beneath his potential. A man who believes he cannot win will eventually stop fighting. So the devil understands this. That is why his greatest weapon is deception. Jesus said he's a lie and the father of lies. So everything Satan says is a lie. Everything, not some things. If he tells you that you are finished, it is a lie. What I'm trying to make you understand is that the things that the devil tells you is a lie. That voice that comes to tell you you can't make it, it's a lie. Because the devil is a liar. So, I don't know if I'm making sense. When you understand that, you automatically understand when you have a business problem that wants to cripple you and says that you are finished. Who is telling you? Who is telling you? It's a lie. It's the devil, so it's a lie. Are you following? So whenever the devil speaks to you, you hear, don't just know that this is a lie. Once you understand that, that's one of the greatest enemy that we must understand. It's the fact that it's lies. So we're talking about the circumstances of life and the lies of Satan. If he tells you that your best days are behind you, like he tells most men after 50, and you've not accomplished anything, or you seem you've not accomplished much yet, it's a lie. Because God will never tell you that. God will never tell you that you are finished. So if a voice comes to tell you that you are finished, just realize that the greater days are ahead of you. Because that voice that you are finished, it's a lie. It is, if it tells you that you cannot become what God called you to be, it's a lie. Men, life, I'm talking to yours. Men, life speaks. Many men think the devil only speaks through demons. No. Most of the time, he speaks through circumstances. If he cannot get your if he can get you your circumstances to preach a lie long enough, eventually you may start believing it. The greatest challenge facing men today is not necessarily the challenge itself. It is the interpretation of the challenge. Deacon Ken said certain things, right? The challenge is hard. But what is his interpretation of the challenge? So the greatest problems are not challenges themselves. That's why I said I'm talking about the realities of life and the lies of Satan. Because life, many times, there are realities. But then the devil comes through those realities and then brings lies, deception. So the devil takes the circumstances and attaches a narrative to it. The narrative is the problem. The circumstances is real, but the narrative is a lie. Joseph, I'll talk about two people. Joseph. If Joseph had interpreted the circumstances wrongly, he could have concluded, God has abandoned me. My dreams were false. My life is over. I will never become what God showed me. The pit, was the pit real? Was there a pit? Yes. Was slavery real? Yes. Was prison real? Of course. But the narrative would have been a lie. Because behind every setback that Joseph had, God was moving Joseph towards the palace. Are you following? Many men today are standing in a pit and drawing conclusions about the palace they haven't even seen. Some other person I think is important. Let me just jump quickly and go to this story of David. In 1 Samuel, Goliath was real. Was Goliath a ghost? Was real. Was Goliath a dwarf? Was a giant. That was real. Was his strength real? Okay. Were his weapons real? Exactly. But for 40 days, Israel listened to what this idiot had to say. Goliath was preaching for 40 days and everybody was scared. Were the circumstances real? Yes. Because of his strength, because of his height, because he was a giant, there was a narrative that all of them, including the king, Saul, believed. This man will defeat us. Then came a young lad called David, like my son. A young lad. The Bible tells us, let's listen to what Goliath told them. You cannot win. You are weak. You are defeated. You should surrender. An entire army believed the message. But David did not. The giant was real. The conclusion that the victory was impossible was a lie. Are you following? Was a lie. We are talking about the circumstances of life, the realities of life, and the lies of the devil. You must stop believing the lies of the devil, because he is a liar. There's nothing that he says that is true. Everything he's telling you about your weaknesses is a lie. Tell somebody it's a lie. Many men today are facing financial giants, family giants, health giants, career giants. The giants are real. But the idea that the giant is bigger than God is a lie. Hallelujah. You know, brothers, your challenge may be real. Your debt may be real. Your setback may be real. Your disappointments may be real. But be careful the story you attach to it. Because the circumstances may be speaking facts. But Satan Satan usually adds a commentary. And his commentary is always a lie. The circumstances say you lost money. Satan says you are a failure. What did you lose? It was money. Is it not money? And then Satan tells you are a failure. You don't die. You die when you are a failure. The circumstances say the business is struggling. Satan says you are a bad leader. The circumstances say you made a mistake. Satan says you are a mistake. The circumstances say you are facing a battle. Satan says you are defeated. Men, listen carefully. Learn to separate the facts from the lie. Because your failure will not be determined by what happened to you. It will be determined by what you choose to believe about what happened to you.